Shut the up. I don't give a dude. Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer.
Joe Rogan just went off on Jake Paul after the shocking announcement that Jake is backing out of his fight with Mike Tyson. It's almost like July 20th was cursed from the start. Or maybe Jake finally found the perfect excuse to escape. Fans everywhere are left stunned. But Joe? He's not surprised one bit. He's been warning for months that stepping into the ring with Tyson was pure insanity. Don't mess with Tyson, he kept saying. But Jake, blinded by clout chasing, refused to listen. Now that Jake's thrown in the towel, Rogan's delivering the verbal knockout he's been waiting for. For many, the dislike toward Jake started the second he challenged Tyson and only grew when he dragged Mike and his family into the trash talk. But Rogan's criticism has been consistent from the very beginning. Since Jake and Logan first crashed into the spotlight, Joe has never shied away from calling them. He's been brutally honest, labeling the Paul brothers as opportunists, chasing money and fame rather than true competitors with genuine love for combat sport. In Rogan's eyes, this was never about boxing. It was always about the spotlight.
No one had the solution.
One of the most unforgettable moments came when Joe Rogan flat out called Jake Paul the biggest manipulator in boxing. And honestly, he might not be wrong. Jake's rapid climb in the sport looks impressive on the surface, but Rogan and plenty of others believe it's been carefully staged. To them, Jake's opponents always seem strategically chosen to give him the upper hand, almost like he's stacking the cards in his favor, and that's something Joe finds deeply concerning. Rogan's criticism isn't just about disliking Jake personally, it runs much deeper. He genuinely believes Jake is harming the integrity of boxing by targeting non-boxers or veterans well past their prime, all while padding his record to look untouchable. Joe argues this creates a false image of Jake's actual skill and misleads fans, which he sees as a slap in the face to the sport itself. And as Floyd has also pointed out, it's less about boxing and more about business.
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Joe Rogan has never let Jake Paul off the hook for his matchmaking tactics. Instead of facing active, legitimate boxers, Jake has built his resume fighting former MMA stars, YouTubers, and retired athletes. To Rogan, it's like building a mansion on a foundation of sand. It might look impressive at first, but it's bound to collapse. On his podcast, Joe has repeatedly broken down Jake's fight history, pointing out the red flags and questioning the legitimacy of his so-called wins. And when it comes to accusations of staged or fixed fights, the pile just keeps growing. Rogan and other critics argue that Jake's spotless record is more illusion than reality, like biting into a shiny apple only to discover it's rotten inside. April 17th, 2021, for example, when Jake fought Ben Askren. Askren was an MMA veteran, sure, but he was known for wrestling, not striking. That fight ended in a first-round KO, and for many, including Rogan, it looked staged. More WWE spectacle than real boxing. Then came August 29th, 2021, when Jake faced Tyron Woodley, another former UFC champion well past his prime. Their rematch on December 18th ended with yet another knockout, fueling even more doubts. Critics insisted these matchups were chosen for the names, not the skills, like booking an old rock band to make yourself look cool even though they haven't made a hit in years. On his October 25th, 2021 episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Joe dissected Jake's career like a crime scene, flat out calling his opponents subpar. To him, fighting non-boxers and faded athletes is the equivalent of padding stats on easy mode in a video game. Impressive only until you realize it's all smoke and mirrors, and ultimately harmful to the sport's credibility.
That Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him.
Joe Rogan's stance on Jake Paul couldn't be clearer. He sees him as gaming the system for fame and money, turning boxing into little more than a circus act. On his May 15th, 2022 episode, Rogan doubled down, tearing apart the way Jake's fights are hyped and marketed to make him look like some kind of boxing prodigy. According to Joe, real fighters earn their reputation through years of grueling, legitimate competition, not by cherry-picking easy opponents to pad their records. His relentless critique has kept the spotlight on Jake's career, ensuring fans and critics alike view it with a skeptical eye. So when the bombshell news dropped on March 10th, 2024, that Jake Paul would be fighting Mike Tyson, the sports world went into chaos. Jake's fans and Tyson's loyal supporters treated it like the ultimate clash of legends, while seasoned boxing purists could barely contain their eye rolls, questioning everything from the fight's legitimacy to the motives behind it. And, of course, Rogan wasted no time weighing in. He quickly drew comparisons to Mike's past fights, warning that this matchup was less about sport and more about spectacle. Exactly the kind of stunt he's been calling out all along.
And it was an execution that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier.
And of course, Joe Rogan, the ever-reliable straight shooter, was right in the thick of it. He practically shouted from the rooftops that this fight smelled fishy from the start. Sure, it was bound to pull huge numbers and stack piles of cash, but Joe saw past the hype. To him, this wasn't a real boxing match, it was a